You are listening to Back to Life, Book 1 in the Serendipity series, written by K.T. Bond, narrated by Chase Johnson, published by Four Horsemen Publishing Incorporated. Copyright K.T. Bond 2021. All rights reserved. Chapter 1. It had been a long day, and Captain Mullings was too tired to care much about where she ate. She just needed dinner and her bed. She walked into the hotel's restaurant and waited to be seated. The table for two was in the quietest corner, which suited her just fine. Although she had happily embarked on this solo European tour, and though she had enjoyed every city she had stayed in, she still preferred to hide away at dinner time. It was a little sad that a grown woman would be alone for dinner every day, though she had no pressing need of a companion. After 3 aborted marriage attempts to men with whom she had not been in sync, she was happy to be alone. However, she did feel her aloneness most sharply in the evenings, which was why she more often than not called room service for dinner. Today, however, she knew if she went up to her room, she would fall asleep without eating, and when she woke, both the restaurant and room service would be unavailable. So she ordered the house special for the evening and a glass of red wine, and stretched her feet out under the table, letting the peace and quiet soak into her bones. After swallowing almost the whole glass of water thoughtfully provided for her, she hurried to the ladies' room. On the way out, she bumped into someone going in the opposite direction, almost falling over. Only his quick hands and steady feet kept her on her own. The arm around her, dangerously close to her bottom, was hard and muscled, his grip strong and sure at her wrist. The man's shoulders were wide, and he was taller than she was by a good 6 inches. His eyes were the prettiest blue she had ever seen, reminding her of the Caribbean Sea on a hot summer day. I'm so sorry," she exclaimed, pulling herself up to her full height and looking up at the stranger. His full lips smiled at her, and his dimpled cheeks surprised her. "That's okay. I'm glad to help. Are you all right now?" He withdrew his hand from her back. They were hard, manly hands, long-fingered and heavily veined. She felt the loss immediately. It made no sense to feel that way, and it disturbed her. "Yes, I'm fine. Thank you." She smiled in her turn and excused herself, hurrying back to her table. The food, when it was served, was hot, filling and delicious as usual. She was glad of something to take her mind off the still unsettling encounter with the handsome, blue-eyed man outside the restroom. She savored a second glass of wine in lieu of dessert, then went to pay her bill. As she turned towards the elevators, her mystery encounter rounded the corner, and their eyes met for the second time. Something like an electric charge shot up her arms and settled in her chest. He flashed those shocking dimples again, acknowledging her with a nod before walking out through the wide glass doors with his companions, 2 women and another man. She went up to her room in a daze. After a hot shower, during which she tried to escape the thoughts of the dark-haired stranger with the sexy mouth and husky voice, she rubbed lotion into her skin and crawled into bed. She had enjoyed her day out and about in Amsterdam, but was now thoroughly exhausted, and hoped she would sleep undisturbed. Tomorrow she would be visiting the Oude Kerk and the Dam Plain, and she knew she would need reserves of energy for the long walking and standing about. Sometime during the night she awoke, shaking and wet. Then the dream came crashing in on her waking mind. She had been dreaming about the smiling stranger, and the way his large man's hands had brought her such pleasure while his
Sample complete. Ready to continue?